boys are back in town.
Let's
Pumping
go.
away, Phil Lavanco. What's going on, everybody? This is MASL Monday on CBS Sports. Galazzo, I got so excited I knocked my microphone there. But Phil Lavanco, producer Phil, myself, Alex Bastyovanszky, and yes, Cronkite, Rather, O'Donnell, James Brown, all famous CBS anchors, and now Bastyovanszky and Lavanco. Phil, what is going on? How did they let us on here?
I have no idea, but I am not complaining. Alex, it's so great to see you. It's so great to hear that theme song again. The season is well and truly back.
We are. We had opening weekend just passed. Welcome, everybody, by the way. This is our first show on CBS Sports. Galazzo, we are so excited. Every week we are going to be here on Mondays. It's part of a great new exciting MASL package on this network that's going to see 40 games this season, Phil. We are super pumped about that. We're going to talk more about that as the show goes along, as we've got MASL Commissioner Keith Tozer coming on the show as well. But let's talk about opening weekend in the league that just went down. The Battle of Missouri, St. Louis, KC going at it, old school rivals. What went down, Phil? Take us through this. Let's start with game one on Friday nights.
So first off, I love the fact that St. Louis and Kansas City open us every single year. That is just, it's like how the Cincinnati Reds open up the baseball season. Kansas City and St. Louis should sort of kick off the MASL season. And the St. Louis Ambush, arguably the offseason champs with all the pieces that they bought this offseason, making a really strong team. Yes. Expectations are much higher. And what's that Mike Tyson quote, Alex?
Everyone's got a game plan until they get punched in the face, I believe is what it is. And St. Louis, high expectations. They were pumped for the season to start. This is going to be a new season after missing the playoffs last couple years at least. It was all going to change. That is not quite what went down this weekend, though. Let's start with Friday's game. Yeah. Phil, roll those highlights, buddy. 8-3 Comets in this one. They punched the Ambush in the face on their home floor to start the season.
Early and often, too. 4 goals in that first period. Yeah. Kansas City looked like that they were prepped and ready to go for this season. And St. Louis, they gave up those 4 goals, and I was really looking forward to seeing how they would adjust and how they would respond to those 4 goals. And Friday night, it never
didn't happen.
It just never happened for them. Stefan Stokic, who may have been the coach of the year last year, right? Some voted for him. And, he had a plan to bottle up Frank Tayu all game, which they did effectively, no points for the King. And they were lightning on offense as well. So, as we said, right, Kansas City punches them in the mouth right away, 4 goals in the first. And St. Louis looked like they never got back into the game. Now, I will point out this, right? Philip Ejimaju, the starting goalkeeper for the Comets on Friday and Sunday night, all weekend, right? Neto was hurt, so Ejimaju gets a start, and he made 3 fantastic saves in this game. One on SK for sure. There was one from half that looked like it might have gone in as well if it wasn't for his acrobatics. That game could have been closer if he didn't make those saves, but he made those saves. And St. Louis had nothing coming out. They had nothing coming out in the second half. Even the commentators were sort of opining that Frank couldn't get open.
Anytime Joey Zanaboni has got a low voice, there's something that's wrong. Okay, one of the most expressive commentators in the league, one of the best as well from the St. Louis Ambush. But yeah, it was tough to get excited for his ambush on that night. Got to say, Leo Acosta, wow, from KC, first star in that game. 2 goals, 2 assists. Last season, it was a rookie, Phil, point per game guy. And this season, I think there are going to be much greater expectations after the way he opened the season.
Yeah, 2 goals on Sunday night, too. We always talk about San Diego. We always talk about Chihuahua having a deep pool of talent. We should probably start talking about Kansas City, too. They seem to come up with 1 or 2 guys every year. Mikey Lennis, the other guy in Kansas City, they come up with 1 or 2 guys every year that's just plug and play, right? They know the system right away, and the Kansas City Comets just keep rolling. So, Leo Costa's been getting plaudits. Yeah.
Zach Reget back, co-Golden Boot winner last year, along with Marco Fabian. I always watch Zach play, and he is one of the most. He always looks like he's got a burr in his saddle, like he's got something to prove. He is so on the go all the time, just high octane. Great weekend for Zach as well. Let's talk, by the way, just really quick, some bangers in the game. Lucia Thatsani's goal that made it 5-0. You were going to see that on MASL and 5. That's the other show that I host, folks, that runs at the halftime for all MASL games. That'll be featured in the game of the plays of the week, no question about it. Acosta's second goal to make it 6-2. Some great plays, man, in that game. Let's move on to the second contest, though, on Sunday, back in KC, and on that beautiful blue turf at Cable Dahmer Arena. Once again, you know what? This one was closer. St. Louis was in it. They were leading 3-2 at the half. Ultimately, though, KC just too much for them once again, Phil.
Yeah, first off, 5,100 in Kansas City, too.
Would have been impressive.
Yeah, 100%.
Not
100%.
Yeah.
But the house was packed, right? Everyone was there. The atmosphere was great. St. Louis, and I was fascinated. I wanted to see them adjust to the way that they played on Friday night. First half, they certainly did. They sort of grinded the game down a little bit, but the Comets, I mean, they ran away with it in the second half. Transition is something that we always talk about with Kansas City, but they were on fire in that second half for sure. Reggett had, perfect target play, laying it off for Acosta too, for a goal as well. So couldn't have gone any better for the Comets this weekend. St. Louis, all eyes of the league are around them for the pieces that they acquired, right? Both Tayu brothers, Dylan Hundelt, right? They've got Pollo Cortez coming in goal. Now, I say that because
Frank held pointless, by the way, in the first game. Got it going in the second game. He was the third star, but pointless in the first game, which is not what St. Louis wants to see. Can we talk really quick about the absolutely most terrifying moment? Hopefully Kansas City gets it out of the way in the very first game. Yeah. But yeah, cool Golden Boot winner Zach Reggett. Great game in the second contest. Scores a second goal of the game. Crumples to the turf like a pile of bricks, holding that left ankle. Stayed down for a couple of minutes. Thankfully, was able to walk off the floor, and then did end up playing more of the game. But man, talk about all your worst nightmares coming to fruition there for KC. Possibly everyone was holding their breath over that.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%. You have to realize too, that he was, MVP runner up as well.
Absolutely.
Seeing Zach he's got to lead this team again, right? He led the team last year, a little dip in the in the middle of the season, and was bottled up pretty good in the Ron Newman Cup finals, it must be said. But, I think sort of not getting that MVP last year is going to spur him on for another season where the determination is in his face to sort of bring home a title for Kansas City and the MVP for himself.
At least he'll be able to play because he got up off the turf. That was the important thing after that game. But yeah, I was definitely holding my breath when I was watching that. We've got to take a quick break, producer Phil. But when we come back, we are going to have MASL Commissioner Keith Tozer, a legend of the indoor game, on our show to talk about the season to come. More MASL Monday. Back in just a moment, folks. Hey, welcome back to MASL Monday, everyone. Alex Bastyovanszky, Phil Lavanco, and we are so happy to be joined by the MASL's commish himself, Keith Tozer. Keith, welcome to the show. How are things, my friend?
Everything's great, Alex, Phil. It's great to see you guys. Season's kicked off.
It's the best time of
year. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I'm expecting Phil to start singing the most wonderful.
We don't have the rights for that. Sorry.
We don't have the rights for that. We can't do it. Yeah, Keith, how was the off season? Is there much of an off season for you these days?
No, there's not much. I mean, obviously, when games are not going on, we're planning. We're getting ready for the season, working on scheduling, working on playoff formats, working on rule changes. Just doing everything we possibly can to get ready. But it was a great off season. I did hit the golf course a few times. So it was quite
one of us.
How's the game, by the way, really quick? Or should I ask? Is it a sore spot or?
No, you can ask. I love golf. I'm about a 14.
Okay.
Between a 12 and 14.
Yeah, so you can get it around.
Not bad.
Excellent. Right. Okay, let's start with the important question here, because here we are in CBS Golazo. This is fantastic stuff. It's huge for the league. Obviously, Keith, talk about this partnership, how big it is for the league, and how it came about as well.
Well, first of all, let's talk about CBS, and we just talked about golf, right? So they carry the PGA, they carry the Masters, which I absolutely love, NFL, NCAA, NWSL, and now the MASL. For us to be on CBS, it's fantastic. It was great, these first two games to see the CBS Sports logo up in the top right-hand corner. I think it really legitimizes us as a sport. JP, obviously, who's a legend in the TV industry, was extremely important in getting this deal done. And we're extremely proud on being in CBS. I think it's really going to help the sport.
Commissioner Tozer, you and I were in Utica 2 years ago for the Combine draft. We were on the stage. We were sharing stories, cracking jokes. How important is the Combine to the development of this league?
Yeah, when you drill down into a project, everybody just sees what it looks like on the outside, but not the real reasons why you're actually doing it. Everybody looks at how many players actually came through, and obviously that's extremely important. But other than the 12 cities that we have in the MASL and also M2, M3, and now MW, not many players around the country or North America know about indoor soccer. That was one of the reasons of why we did it. It brought all the coaches together. I can't tell you how proud and great it was having Giuliano work with Stefan and so forth and so on. It brought the referees together. It brought owners, GMs together. We opened up a new arena, and a new thing we brought was USA Mexico. So if you look at the total package of the event, huge success.
The league is always adapting and making changes to make the game better, Keith. This year, a few rule changes as well. What can you tell us about that's new this season when it comes to the indoor game?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I think all sports leagues always look for R&D, right? And how can you improve the game? How can you improve the referee? And we looked at the game and we said, what rule changes can we make to make it better and easier for the referees? Ryan Sigich once told me, does the rule improve the game? Well, I think players falling down all the time, staying on the ground long, I think is not good for the game, both outdoor and indoor. So bringing the 15-second rule in and sit off for 2 minutes, we noticed it a few times where players got up. Get into the penalty box in 15 seconds. Not a live shootout anymore. And especially now with VR, with coaches being able to win their first challenge and get their flag back, we think is really makes the game better. We weren't ready in the first year or two with it. Our referees really worked on it. I think we're about 1 minute and 12 seconds to 1 minute and 20 as far as whistle blows, get to the VR, get the ball back and play. I think the new rule changes and the 3-line violation, I think has been great so far.
Well, as somebody who pays particular attention to refereeing decisions, I really enjoy that second challenge because I think it does add a little bit of fairness.
Mm-hmm.
If you win your first one, you do get that second one back. Commissioner, I want to talk to you about the single table, right? Yeah. I've been talking off season. I think it's a great thing for the league to have a single table. What was sort of the decision-making process to bring everybody together to one table?
Yeah, we do make decisions in the league office where we take in information, we study, we talk to others. This one was really between the league office and all the owners who voted on it. If we had a balanced schedule, meaning that Tacoma played Utica 6 times, 3 home, 3 away. They played Baltimore 6 times. Then maybe doing a West Coast and an East Coast might, make a smart move. But with an unbalanced schedule, it made a lot more sense to put all 12 teams in. And then we had to figure out how many of the 12 will actually make the playoffs. But I think it makes sense this year.
I can't wait to see how that's going to play out with who makes the playoffs. It's going to make it extra exciting this season. The new playoff structure also, Keith, was just announced the other day as to who is going to make the playoffs and the 1 through 8 and where the quarterfinals and semifinals are going to be held. So talk about that and what teams and fans can expect from the new playoff structure this season.
Yeah, as I talked about the combine, people only look, what the house looks like in front, right? What is the real reason why I'm buying this house? So let's go inside the playoff house. First of all, we don't own our arenas other than San Diego, which was a huge problem in Major League Soccer. It is a problem here in the MASL. We have several teams that when it comes to playoffs do not have a date in the first or second round. So that poses a huge problem at the beginning because where are they going to play? Okay, that's one thing. We finish on March 30th, end of March. If you don't know where you're going to go, teams have to wait until April 1st to buy a ticket. But what is happening in the end of March and in April? It's spring break. So tickets are so expensive. And by the way, you can't put 25 people on one airplane. So you got to split them up. So that was another reason why we did it. Golazo, being in one building and having 2 games a day to put on CBS Golazo is the perfect thing that we can do. And now hopefully the league can sell it as a international sponsor, as well as in San Diego. People go, well, why is San Diego got it? Well, San Diego is the only people that own their own building. And by the way,
set the dates,
the Soccers are giving each team in the quarterfinals hotel rooms. Soccers are giving each team in the semifinals more hotel rooms. There's a revenue share. And I mean, we could go on. And by the way, most of the time, if you have a quarterfinal, then a semifinal, you're going at least 2 weeks into April. We'll be done by the quarterfinal and the semifinal by April 7th. Here's the cool thing. We understand the fans. We know the fans want to see their home team play. So the 2 teams that get to the final, they're playing in front of their home fans in a best of 3.
You still got the home and home. Yeah.
If you put ticket pricing, if you put the cost of, putting the game on TV, everything like that, this made a lot of sense. We hope it works out.
That new arena, which we saw, which was baptized with that USA-Mexico game, looks absolutely unbelievable. Okay, I wasn't going to let you go without asking you one more question anyway, just so you know. That is, in about 30 seconds or less, because we got to take a break, Keith. What are you most looking forward to this season?
Well, I think the game itself is just wonderful. I think hopefully bigger crowds, especially after the New Year's. New national sponsors. We got great streaming along with Golazo. And what I'm really looking forward to is new eyeballs on the game as far as ownership. I mean, have M2, have M3, and now MW. We have close to 80 teams in the indoor realm underneath our brand. It's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to a great year and going all the way to the finals.
And a great showcase on CBS Sports Golazo, no question about it. Mr. Commish, thank you so much for taking the time. We'll do this again soon.
Hey, I want to wish you and all the fans a very happy holiday season. Be safe, travel safe.
Excellent. Stick around, everyone. We're going to take a quick break. More MASL Monday coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to MASL Monday, everybody. Please do not adjust your sets if the glare is too much from 2 chrome dome folks like ourselves here.
Well, guys talking about soccer works. I don't know what it is.
2 follically challenged gentlemen talking about the greatest game on turf. Okay, so our final segment of the show here. Let's talk about this weekend because the schedule really gets going, Phil. Some interesting games on top. Let's each pick a game that we are most fascinated by. I'm going to start with Chihuahua, the 2-time defending repeat champions, hosting Empire. And I'm absolutely pumped for obvious reasons here. Number one, you've got the champs. We want to see what they look like this year. They returned so many guys. They are going to be a dominant force. We'll get to more of that in a second. But also, I'm really pumped to see Empire, who added so many pieces this season. And we get to see Marco Fabian, who was just phenomenal last year. But we get to see him now with a year under his belt. It's going to be terrifying to see. But that's the game that I am most excited to see this weekend. Phil, how about you?
Yeah, they always say players take a couple of years to go to indoor, but Fabian took it like a duck to water, and he was spectacular.
It's like he's been playing it his entire life. Yeah.
I'm going to take Kansas City versus Milwaukee, arguably the best rivalry this sport has to offer. Neto versus Huffman and Bennett versus Marquez. And it's just a great time. Willie B, too, who's a fantastic goalie for Milwaukee. It's just a great rivalry. They genuinely play intense games. So that's my pick. And to be seen on Golazo as well.
You don't quite know if you're watching a hockey game or a soccer game when those 2 teams play because a brawl could break out at any minute. It's always fun and entertaining stuff. Okay, but check your schedule, folks. There's some fantastic games on this weekend. Let's play a little game as we go into our last couple minutes of the show here, Phil. Yay or nay on these questions? I will start off with, for you, yay or nay, both Empire and St. Louis make the playoffs this year?
Okay, this one might have egg on my face at the end of the season, but I'm going nay at St. Louis in the playoffs. I've been talking about them all offseason, saying they have the pieces to make the playoffs. This year, I've got Empire out, and I've got St. Louis in.
And I've got nay, but I've got the opposite of you. I've got Empire in this season. I think with those new additions and with Marco and I see Empire as a playoff team this year. Okay, second one. The MVP of the league will come from the Midwest, one of the Midwest teams. Yay or nay?
I'm going to say yay on this one. I think if St. Louis makes the playoffs, Taiyu is going to be on top of the leaderboard when it comes to goals and points, and I think that's going to get him the MVP crown. So didn't get off to a great start for me this past weekend, but I'm going to stick with my guns, and I'm going to stick with my pick of Frank Taiyu.
Okay, I say nay because I think it's going to come from Empire. I think it is going to be Marco Fabian. He was the Cole Golden Boot winner last season in his first year in the league. It is going to be terrifying for the opposition to see what he's going to do with a year of experience under his belt. Utica will miss the scoring output of Frank Taiyu this season. Yay or nay? I mean, yay. Of course, it's Frank Taiyu, for crying out loud. Pretty obvious one for me. I don't care who you've added to your team. If Frank Taiyu's not there, you're going to miss his 40 goals per season or whatever he normally gets.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to miss it. Yeah.
So a lot of ifs for me with Utica this year with Frank leaving, right? If Ronaldinho and Nilton take another leap to the guys that, the other teams are targeting as well, they need a couple more. They need an if from Keaton Woods. They need an if from Vinny Dantas. And there's an if from Kelvin as well, right? The big signing that they brought in towards the end of last season. So I think they have all the pieces together to sort of patchwork the goals, but it's a big job for Everton and the Utica crew to kind of make up for those pieces. Big season ahead in Utica.
Let's just go straight to San Diego. San Diego will be trophyless this season, yay or nay?
Nay, I think they win the whole thing. They are adding pieces by the day. I think going these last couple of years without a trophy, their birthright, the Ron Newman Cup, I don't think they go another year without hoisting the trophy in the new building, no less.
Okay, I'm going to go nay as well, but a little bit different from you because I do think they could be the regular season champions. But in order to be the champs, you've got to beat the champs. And Chihuahua is you got to give them the respect. They are the team to beat until someone takes them down. I'm calling a Chihuahua three-peat, but that could go anyway. San Diego is going to be very strong this season. And Phil, we got to wrap it up here, but quickly tell everyone how they can watch the MASL on CBS Sports Golazo every week.
So CBS Golazo on your internet, on Pluto TV or on P+, Kansas City versus Milwaukee. This weekend is the offering, and all the other games this weekend on YouTube TV, MASL.TV.
Thank you so much for watching our first show. Thank you to producer Phil. Thank you to Keith Tozer, the commissioner. I'm Alex Bastyovanszky. We will be doing this every week. We would love to have you along with us for this voyage. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you next week.